Oh, well, sorry, man. You know, better luck next time. And so he moved all his stuff out, except for his very last truckload. His bed and a few things were still in there, like in a million extension cords. Um, I thought that was weird. He's leaving his bed behind, and I'm like, I'm not even gonna say anything. I'll just drag tomorrow. I'll drag it out into the street with a free sign on it, or pay to have it hauled off. And he came back and he went to bed. And I'm like, it's not midnight yet. And so the next day he's there in the house still, and he's moved out. It's another month, and he's in the house. And so all day long I don't say anything. I just kind of watch him. And as it gets towards nighttime, he's like, "Well, heading to bed." I'm like, "Oh, before you go, would you pay rent?" And he's like, "I paid rent." I'm like, "Oh no, you paid rent for last month, but then you moved out, and so it's just the rent for today." And he's like, "What's rent? What do you mean rent for the day?" I'm like, "It's like, well, it's one day out of 30 days. It's like $10, something like that. Whatever your portion is of our rent divided by the days." And he's like, "Well, sure, I guess." And I'm like, "Oh, and it's gonna be an extra $10 if you don't wash your dishes, before midnight. But when midnight hits, I'm gonna wash those dishes, and it's $10 to do it." And he's like, "I'll do my dishes," and he gave me $10. And at midnight, his dishes were still there, and he was asleep. And so I did his dishes, and the next day, there he's still there, and it's coming on towards he's getting ready to go to bed again. It's like day two of after he's moved out, and I'm like, "Hey, buddy, you gonna pay rent for the day?" He's like, "Hey, I moved out," and I'm like, "Yeah, but yet you're still here." He really said, "Hey, I've moved out. I don't live here." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you're still here, so I'm gonna need $20." He's like, "It's $10 a day," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I did your dishes last night, and I told you it's $10 to do your dishes. And actually, there's dishes in the sink again, and so it's going to be another $10 if you don't do those." Um, and he paid me the $10. He's like, "Here's 20, and I'm going to do those dishes." And they were his dishes; they belonged to him. Um, Day three, same thing happens. This time, I'm not paying you to do my dishes, and I'll do them when I'm ready. Um, and I'm like, "Well, you'll do those dishes um, tonight, because tomorrow, um, you understand you haven't paid rent for tomorrow. You've only paid rent for today. So the second tomorrow comes about, really at midnight, um, you're not actually a roommate here because you haven't paid. You understand that, right?" He's like, "I understand that." And he marches off to bed. He doesn't understand that because the next day when I wake up and his dishes are in the sink, they're not my dishes. They're not any of my roommate's dishes. They go straight in the trash. I threw his dishes out, and that was the last day. Because actually, I threw more than just those dishes out. I started throwing his things out, and he grabbed the rest of his stuff and moved out. And you know what? I got him to pay the $10 for that day that he moved out. He's like, "I wasn't there the whole day." And I'm like, "You're gonna give me $10, buddy. Rest assured." And he did. I don't make idle threats. Uh, what else? I think I could go on, but I think that 19 minutes, 20 minutes is good. And also, my steak has got to be getting close to getting done. And I got to watch Thor. Um, so nice work on making me work out for like a year and a half, Glitch. I hope you're happy. I hope that makes you really happy. You're ha ha ha, you fooled Earl. Made me do exercise. I did crunches. I refused to do a thing called a deadlift because that sounds like something that's like lethal. I didn't do any deadlifts. Um, did curls. Uh, I did. Um, I did the Dutch 180. I did the Dutch oven. Um, I did the Dutch side by side, and I did the Dutch. I did the Dutch midway. The Dutch really, they've got it going on. Like, I thought yoga was sexy and cool, but the Dutch workout, You want to say goodbye to Glitch Bunny, Malt Liquor Bunny?
Go fuck yourself, Glitch. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself.